Hey, what's going on, Agents for Life? Welcome to podcast 228. Got some really great thoughts to share with you. I hope to inspire you just a little bit. So, thank you for spending some time with me. Um, First, a story from the field. I don't know if you've written that Emeritus Flex Term Life, but that application was a little crazy. So, I had a pretty good week. I had a guy that, well, it just kind of pointed in that direction for a lot of different reasons. One being he was 54. He lived, no, he's 50, 55, lives in California. He wants a term policy for 30 years. Well, it turns out a lot of carriers only go 25, except GPM and Prosperity, which don't work in California. So they don't write in California. So I had to go, I was shopping around. I found Emeritus. I've never written the flex term. So I pulled it up. A couple of interesting things about it. Some things that I didn't really care for. It was a little bit different. The questions, there were a lot of new questions asking about. It required his wife's social security number. It asked a lot of deep questions about health and things that I'd never seen before. Some really strange diseases that I had to ask him about. And it asked all the financial information, banking information before I even started any of the underwriting. So it did give me a decision before, which is kind of interesting. It says, here's the decision. The decision was you can go to underwriting. Would you like to proceed? Now, I don't know if that means if I said no, if it gets reported to the MIB or not, but um, I went through the motions and I think that was my first one because I didn't recognize any of it. But a great company, great product. I might write more if this goes smoothly. I'll let you know how it goes. But Emeritus Flex, if you're going to do one of those, just be prepared for some wacky questions. Mic drop thought for the week that I wanted to share with you before I get into my training. Death dinners. One of my agents talked about a client that she has that is doing a death dinner. And I'd never heard of this before. And I was like, a death dinner? What is a death dinner? And apparently it's a thing. Okay. It's a thing. I don't know if you've heard of it or not, but it's a thing where parents and kids get together, they have a dinner, but the theme or the topic of conversation is about death. I know it's kind of a morbid subject to be bringing up during dinner, but people do this. And I guess if you go at it from more of a matter of fact, like we are tying up all the loose ends. So if something happens, we're all prepared, we're all on the same page. So for one night, we're all going to agree to have an uncomfortable conversation. We're going to set emotion aside and just logistically, let's talk through this so we're not guessing when that day comes. And it's actually really smart if you think about it. So I did a little bit of research on it, and most people call it death over dinner instead of just death dinner because when you hear the term death dinner, it makes me wonder what we're eating. Okay, but death over dinner. So we're having dinner and we're talking the subject of death. So death over dinner is kind of a thing in the field. I don't know if you want to do something with that or not. I just have never heard of it, so I thought I'd share that with you. But it's definitely a thing. It's out there. After doing some Google searching, I realized it's a lot bigger than I realized, and I'm surprised I'd never heard of it. So there's always something new. I tell you, even after 5 years, I'll bet there's people in here for 10 or 20 years that are learning new things all the time. And so, fun industry, always something new to learn. That was one thing that I picked up this week. It's not really a leadership thought or something, but it's a new idea. So it fit in the qualification of mic drop thought for the week. But let's go to the training really quick. Um, so, what I wanted to do, I was thinking about the business opportunity of Equus Financial. And I realized I spent a lot of time about underwriting and sales, and I think that's all wonderful. I think that's all necessary. There's only so much of that that you can do, and you just got to go do it. You know, and we all know this. You just got to go do it. You just got to go fail. You got to flop. You got to go put yourself out there and have some bad appointments. And you'll get it. You know, the sales side of things, learning underwriting, learning how to close, that will come. I'm not saying brush it aside. You definitely want to work on those skills. But the bigger opportunity here is the building side. And I think it's something I probably don't talk about enough to my own dismay. Yeah, but I'm going to start talking about it more. So the building side. Now, let me give you um, a little analogy on understanding the building side of this business. Because if you haven't started or you haven't wrapped your mind around it, um, Well, if let me rephrase that. If you haven't started building, it's probably because you haven't wrapped your mind around it. So first of all, spread. Okay. Everything in the world of building an agency is based on spread. And Barry teaches that he built his agency based on about a 15 to 20 point spread as a sweet spot. Um, Now, as agents grow, of course, they can pass you. You can give up all of that spread. But that's why we're always encouraged to be bringing on new people, not just our downline or not just organizations, but us ourselves. So let's talk about let's back up a little bit. Let's understand the whole concept. And you've all heard the analogy of McDonald's, so I'm going to take it to a new level. The thought occurred to me the following. If I were to ask you right now, just you and I, if you had an offer to work at McDonald's, would you take it right now? Now, the answer most of you would probably give me is no. I wouldn't want to work at McDonald's. It's kind of a starter job, or, and I'm not here to diss McDonald's. That was my first job. Hated every minute of it. Well, that's not true. I worked with some really fun people, but I was just happy to have a job. But if the offer were on the table for you to go work at McDonald's, are you taking it or are you turning it down? Probably most of us are saying, I'm going to turn it down, right? And for whatever reason, I'm not going to get into that. Obvious reasons, probably. But what if the sentence wasn't finished yet? Would you take it? Would you take that job with the option to own that McDonald's in the next 3 to 5 years? So let me rephrase the question. If you had an offer to work at McDonald's, would you take it with the option to own it in the next 3 to 5 years? Now that changes things, doesn't it? And you're thinking to yourself, so if I suck it up for a few years flipping burgers, in the next 3 to 5 years, I can own the place, fill it full of employees. The system, the manuals, the employees or the teenagers run the place, right? And now technology runs the place. Well, your answer might be a little different. I mean, if you weren't involved at Equus, the opportunity of owning a McDonald's is kind of a dream for a lot of people because good income, you're not there working anymore, you're owning it, you have residual, whatever. I'm sure there's headaches, but get this. The cost to own a McDonald's is between 1 and 2.2 million, with 40% that has to be cash out of pocket. So you have to have at least $400,000 of cash in order to do it. So you got to come with some skin in the game. It's one of the requirements. You can't finance the whole thing. You do have to attend a thing called Hamburger University. You may have heard of this for at least 1 year, from what I can gather. I did some research on this. There is a 4% service fee and a 10% rental fee. You don't own the land. The McDonald's Corporation does, and you got to pay them not rental, but also a service fee. So you're giving up 15% almost of your profits right off the top for McDonald's corporate to keep doing their thing. Average gross profit of a store is about 2.7 million per year. Okay, 2.7. Average owner income, so 2.7 million. The owner pockets about 150,000 on average. So it's a good it's a good lifestyle. A lot of people would say 150,000, that'd be awesome. But in today's world, 150,000 isn't what it's cracked up to be. It's 20 years ago, that was a really good income, but anymore with inflation and stuff, 150 can go by pretty darn fast. So, but still, that's above average. So what would it take a life insurance agent to do that same income? 10 agents producing 8,000 apiece, 8,300. That's not even you. If you hired 10 agents who are producing 8,000 APV, annual premium value, paid APV, at a 15% spread. So if you have a 15% spread on 10 agents, that's $150,000 of income for you based on spread. Now, McDonald's, they make all their profits based on spread. They buy a bun for a penny, put it on a hamburger and sell it for $15 with patty and mustard, mayo, lettuce, all the things, So it probably costs them like $1 or $1.50 to make the hamburger, and they sell it for 15. That's spread margin, guys, right? That's all we do. We're in the business. We're in the people business. So our product is a service that's offered through an agent. So the commodity that we're seeking is always a new agent, a committed, determined, dream-driven soul who doesn't mind doing a little bit of hard work to potentially get unlimited income, right? That's who we're looking for. The next sharp person in our organization, because that's the person who's going to go out and sell. So the spread in our industry isn't buying a product for really cheap and selling it for really expensive. The spread is simply the bonus that the carrier pays for us training new people to become leaders. Much better business environment, in my opinion, than anything you'd find in corporate world. But let me switch over now because I did this little exercise, and I think you'll like it. I hope you will, of comparing two different models. Okay. Now, there's two different pieces of paper that mean something. Well, there's a lot of pieces of paper that mean something, but two in particular. One is a college degree. Okay. College degree. That's a diploma. 4 years of your life back to back, studying, hard work, tests, etc. And they give you a piece of paper that says you have graduated, you have earned this degree, and you've earned bragging rights. Pat yourself on the back, and there you go. No guarantees, right? No guarantees. Go out and get yourself a job, but you've got a little piece of paper that says you're now qualified, maybe to get something a little nicer, whatever. Well, there's another piece of paper in our industry. That graduation certificate is called a life insurance license. Okay, let's compare the two pieces of paper. In both cases, the piece of paper simply means somebody determined that you had some education, that you worked for something. And this is certifying that you accomplished you passed a certain level of tests and met some certain requirements, whether they're regulated through the state. Well, they're both actually regulated through the state. And that you passed, that you were at the state determined level or above. Okay. Somebody put their stamp of approval. Somebody invented that. Somebody made the test and you passed. So in both cases, great job. Now, income wise, actually, let me end on income. The debt. How much does it cost to get piece of paper number one? On average, the college graduate that graduates from a bachelor's degree nationally, you can Google it, a little over $29,000. There are some people that have, as you know, six-figure debt, and there's other people that come out debt-free, but not very many of them. The average is $29,000 per person. So you graduate, $29,000 of debt. Here we go. Let's go find a job and hope to try and pay that off. Piece of paper number two, life insurance license. How much debt does it take to get your life insurance license? In most states, $200 or $300. $200 or $300. Okay, did you just feel that right there? Now you're thinking, okay, yeah, but it's a life insurance license versus a college degree. Well, guess what? It's only society that has put so much value on the college degree. So you get a college degree, and then what? I mean, you can feel good about yourself, but what does that do for you and for the rest of your life? Well, let's move on. So, how long does it take to get each piece of paper? College degree, 4 years. Unless you hustle your butt off, you might be able to do it in 3. It took me 7, by the way. Okay. And no, I'm not a doctor. I should be. It just took me 7 years to get my college degree because I was working full time and I was raising 2 kids by the time I graduated. And my wife was a stay-at-home mom. So she drove the car because we didn't have enough money for 2 cars. So I had a scooter, a Honda Elite scooter. And yes, I drove it all winter long in Utah in the snow. So don't ask me how I survived, how I'm still alive. It was probably not the smartest thing because I remember slipping and sliding. Those are not snowmobiles, nor are they built for snow, but it was what we did. We were poor, starving students, and that's how we did it. And it took me 7 years to get through what I needed to because I had just chipped away at my education. Well, woe is me, right? I'm not asking for any sympathy. I'm just telling you it can take a long time. The average is 4 years, though. How long does it take to get a life insurance license? Okay. This is me not bragging. The same guy that took 7 years to get a college degree took 8 days to get a life insurance license. 7 years, 8 days. Now, I probably got through my license a little faster because I was hungry. So let's go to the extreme and let's be ultra conservative. Maybe it takes you 90 days to get your license. All right. If it's taking you that long, you might want to pursue a different career. I don't know. But some people, they just drag their heels, and that's fine. Everybody's got their own timeline. But guys, a life insurance license does not take a great amount of effort or time. Really, if you buckle down and get through the course, you can get through an average 2, 3 weeks. Okay. It doesn't even matter because we're so far off of 4 years that it really doesn't even matter. Even if it was 6 months, it's still a fraction of the 4 year timeline it takes for a college degree. Now, let's look at income. So, potential income. You get a college degree, and guess what? The average income is a little over 50,000 in the United States right now. $50,000 for a bachelor's degree, a 4 year degree with $29,000 of debt. You now have the opportunity to get a job, probably that you don't like, surrounded by coworkers that you didn't choose, that you probably don't like, by a boss that you probably don't like. At least at first you might, but after a while you probably won't like, who's trying to keep you from taking his place. So there's politics at play in most cases. You can tell that how I feel. I'm a little jaded about job environments. There are some great jobs. Trust me, I'm not talking about every scenario, but most scenarios, most people that you talk to, yeah. So 50,000. What is the average income of an independent life insurance agent in the state of Arizona, which is where I am? You can check and see what your state is. $76,000. 76. So I'm scratching my head going, why is everybody not becoming a life insurance agent? What is it that you look at those numbers? Okay, I'm going to go get a degree. I'm going to spend 4 years. I'm going to spend tens of thousands of dollars hoping to get a job that will on average pay $50,000, or I could go get my license in 8 days, 10 days, 14 days, start right away. My investment to do that is a couple hundred, 300, 400, let's say 400 at the most. So let's add in another 600 for your first lead investment, and let's call it an even $1,000. $1,000. Most people can come up with $1,000 without having to finance it. Savings, borrow it from a friend, pull it from a couple of paychecks. I mean, we could sell some things on Facebook, right? To get up to $1,000. The funny thing is, we don't think twice about going into debt and signing on the loans for our education so that we can hope to get a job that will be just barely above the standard of poverty in America. But yet, you ask an agent, go get $500 for some leads, and it's just nowhere to be found. You can't find it, can't figure it out, can't do it. It's too much. It freaks them, it's scary, it's whatever. Well, you know what? You're just maybe comparing things to the wrong model. Like, take a look at the traditional model and what the potential is and how bleak of a picture that looks. And then ask yourself, is $500 for leads really a lot? You might have a different answer. So obviously you go into the couple of non-tangibles. Is there a boss? Well, in the college grad industry, in the world of those that go in and work jobs, yes, there is a boss. Someone telling you what to do, telling you when to show up, telling you when you did something wrong, and telling you when you can go on vacation. You have to ask permission for everything. Ask me how I know. I worked a job 15 years, and I was done with it after about 2. It just took me that long to find life insurance. In the life insurance industry, you do not have a boss. Well, technically you do. It's your calendar. You've heard me say that in the trainings, but not a person. You get to give yourself, okay, here's the next category, potential for management. In the with the college degree, with that piece of paper, in that model, you may or may not have potential for management. You don't get to make that choice. And in many cases, you don't have that choice at all. It is what it is, and you're handed a position that you take. In life insurance, whenever you want to be a manager, you can be a manager. You just start becoming a manager. We'll even teach you. We're anxious to help you become a manager. So much so that Barry Clarkson's going around the country putting on workshops teaching you how to become a what? Sales manager. We're anxious to promote our people. We want everybody up here at the management level and above, where you're managing teams, because you get overrides, you get spread, right, in your business. And it's not just for some, it's for everybody. Everybody can promote themselves. Pretty cool. Self-promotion, right? So opportunity for management, absolutely in life insurance, completely unknown, probably not in most cases for those that get a college degree. Last difference between the two pieces of paper, college degree, bonuses and promotions. Okay, so not just management position, but promotions, meaning giving yourself a raise. Bonuses and raises, let's call it. Okay, what does the average raise look like in America right now? You know what? I'm going to Google search this right here in front of you. Average raise percentage. It pops right up. 3.8% per year. So in 1 year, if you hustle and you set yourself up from all your coworkers and you do really good, you can get an average of 3.8% increase in your salary, in your income. 3.8. What do we do at Equus? 5 points is the minimum, 5%. And you can do it every month, or you can jump 20 or even 30 or more percent just by hustling in 1 month, not a year per year. How many years would a worker at a job have to work in order to get to 30 or 40% increase in raise? I mean, that's what, 10 years? I'm no mathematician, but I can look at that and say, man, I can not only make a lot more money, takes a lot less time, spend a lot less investment out of my pocket to get going, and self promote, but I can get raises at 10 times the pace that I can in the traditional model of going and getting a diploma and working 40 years. Now, here's the big thing. We thought we talk about benefits. What about the benefits? The bennies, right? The bennies. I have the benefits, health benefits, 401k, right? Time off, paid vacation time, all that stuff. Guess what, guys? That's the hook right there. That's how an employer attracts you into that sticky web of a business model where you lose out on everything else. You compromise on all these other areas. But hey, I got health insurance, right? I don't have to pay my own health insurance. I don't have to pay my own this or that, right? I got a salary. I got my paycheck. It's $2,800 every 2 weeks. It's coming in, right? That's about what I was making when I had a job, and working hard as I can, working 10-hour days, I still got the same paycheck. So you get to choose. These are the two different business models. I just thought it was interesting that they both start with a piece of paper and you can compare the two all the way down. And outside of those benefits, they got nothing on us, guys. I mean, yeah, we have to work. We have to self-motivate. We have to show up. We got to show up on team calls. We got to learn. We got to go through a learning curve. We got to be uncomfortable. We got to fall on our faces on some of these appointments. Yeah, 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 yes, and yes. Because guess what? You look at all these successful people out there. What have they all done to get to where they are? Those things that I just said. See that chart on the wall right behind me? All those things at the bottom going all the way up. You probably can't read it, but that's what success is made of. So why would you not want to be in a business model that has that kind of potential where you can grow, you can stretch, you can go outside your comfort zone, and you can have unlimited income versus limiting yourself with the traditional model of go to school, get good grades, graduate, find a company, hope they take care of you, hope that you like the people you work with, hope that it's a positive environment, there's not too many politics, and maybe in a very small percentage of people you can actually have a pension where you can retire on a decent, in many cases meager salary. So we get to take control of our own destinies here, and I can't emphasize how good that feels. And those of you that are transitioning over, yeah, we take the good with the bad. Yeah, there's some things that are tough over here, right? Some of my agents listening, you know who you are. I'm not going to use names, but some of you agents, I am proud of you because you're taking a jump, a leap of faith, and you're stepping out and you're going away from business model number one, piece of paper number one, right? College grad, and you're switching over to a business model that is in so many ways so much better, but yet it's uncomfortable and it has a little bit of risk. And we don't get paid unless we work, and a few other things. But you know what? We're a team. The model works. It's been proven. It's been working for many, many years. This business model has been around for 100+ years. It's one of the oldest businesses. Life insurance companies are some of the oldest companies around. So it's not new. And we're not just testing this out. So my point in all this is if you've been toggling, if you've been on the fence about your decision, maybe if you've had a bad week, you know what? The worst weeks here are better than the best weeks at a job, in my opinion. So be careful about where you go mentally with all that, because it's easy to get ungrateful for an amazing opportunity that everybody has. If you're listening to this and you're one of my agents, all of you have in your fingertips right now in one of the best business models this world has ever seen. It's just so few people actually choose to step up and take advantage of. So I hope that you'll be grateful every day when you wake up that you have a license. You've got a license to print money, to go out and sell anytime you want, as much as you want. You've got a license to give yourself a raise any day that you want, any week that you want. You have a license to go out and create freedom for yourself, for your family, to create a legacy of income and financial security for not just your children, but your children's children. You have a license that will get you as far as you want. I mean, I don't think anybody yet has found the limit on how much you can make and what you can do as a life insurance agent. So I challenge you to be the one that tries to find out the answer to that question. Thank you for listening. Be grateful for this. Hunker down, go through the motions, do what you got to do, because I'm telling you 1,000 times over, it is absolutely worth any type of sacrifice that it might take to succeed here. We're glad you're on the team, and we're willing to do whatever it takes to help you succeed. Have an awesome week. Take care. Bye.